Midnight Club Street Racing, developed by Angel Studios, the company responsible for Midtown Madness and Smuggler's Run, and published by Rockstar Games, is a fun arcade racer for the PlayStation 2 that has a lot going for it in terms of atmosphere and gameplay, but is unfortunately less than the sum of its parts. The game boasts two decently sized open worlds that the player can drive within to their heart's content. However, outside of the most recognisable landmarks of both New York and London, the campaign mode doesn't really provide players with any real reason to look around. Tokyo was originally going to be featured as a location within the game, but was unfortunately cut due to time constraints, as the game was scheduled to meet the PlayStation 2's launch. The game also boasts many colourful characters with distinct personalities, and whilst they do all have discernible traits, they oftentimes don't have much to say. You will recognise them based off the cars that they drive more than the personality traits that they put forward. The game features two main modes of play, the arcade mode, which provides races similar to the ones found in career mode, as well as giving the player the ability to drive around the open world at their leisure. It is within this mode that the player can find unlockables, such as being able to unlock police cars, dump trucks, and buses, which are very reminiscent of Midtown Madness's unlocks. The career mode has very little in the way of context, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. The player starts out as a lowly cab driver who, after winning their first race, is inducted into the Midnight Club, an ensemble of illegal street racers who drive modified street machines and race under the cover of darkness. After winning against the talent scout Emilio, you are then allowed to challenge other racers to shootouts. As you defeat other racers, they will then award you their phone numbers, which allow you to schedule impromptu races with them when their car is on the line. Unlike later titles in the series, the cars in this game aren't licensed, so they have a vague resemblance to their real-life inspirations and counterparts. Also, unlike other games, the player can't actually buy cars. Instead, the only way to attain them is by winning them. And instead of customizing each vehicle to make them more viable in races, the player must instead beat the owner of the original vehicle a total of 3 times in order to earn the best variant of each car, each getting incrementally better statistically. The gameplay of Midnight Club is fun. Cars handled differently based on their size as well as their speed, and the game's drifting mechanic is very different to other titles in the genre. The sense of speed is relatively decent, and whilst cars control well, there are many that require a little bit of practice to really get down pat. Races are standard point-to-point affairs that can be completed using any route that the player sees fit, meaning that using shortcuts any chance you get is highly recommended. Occasionally, police will begin chasing the racers and will attempt to spin you out. While they never caused any trouble during my playthrough, they add to the game's character. Midnight Club is a fun, albeit short game that has held up incredibly well even after all of these years on the PlayStation 2. However, it's definitely best remembered as a great starting point for a great series. The game's short length and its enjoyable handling model makes it a good game to play through during a weekend, but is not a game that should be chosen above any other titles in the series, and I don't think anyone should clamber to get their hands on it.